kick it.
Hello, all of you slimesters, and welcome to Collector's Corner. I hope you're all excited because I am excited. This is one of our favorites, and I'm really, really happy, just so all of you know, that Jordy is having a wonderful trip. He's out of town right now. He's having a great time at Disney World. I hate you. But I'm glad to know that Manny is house sitting for him.
I sure am. It's really great that he gave me access to all of his wonderful stuff. Don't worry, Jordy. I've inventoried everything and I'm putting it all right away. But thank you so much for allowing me to house sit for you. And it's really great to be here.
Yeah,
3,000 miles away.
Manny opened every single packet of sealed things that you had just to play with it to see if it worked.
I told you not to say that. I can't take you anywhere.
Not to mention, both Kat and Manny apparently, they shop at the same store.
We do.
Because they're wearing the same shirt today. But today, for Collector's Corner, we're going to be talking with Ryan/Smeagolodian, who you all may know from Instagram. Ryan's been a big supporter of ours for a long time, and we're very, very, very appreciative to him and all the support that he's given us. But the dude has got a lot of really cool Nickelodeon things. Like every time we have a slime stream, he's got something new almost every time, just with him, like, oh, look at this thing, like right before we get started. So I'm excited to see what all you've got. So first of all, hi Ryan, how you doing, bud?
I'm doing good.
Gosh, I think the last time, like the last episode that we had you on was our Ren and Stimpy Christmas versus.
That's right.
Yep.
Was it really that long ago?
I think that was our last episode that had Ryan on it. I mean, we've seen him. We've seen him every month just to do his slime streams.
Yeah.
But
that's why I was like, wait, it was that long ago? Yeah, it seems like
ago.
Yesterday.
Yeah.
But yeah, we just haven't had him featured on an episode till now, since then. But Ryan, I'm going to hand it over to you before we get started. Well, I should say before we get started with the collection. How long have you been collecting?
Well, I've pretty much started collecting since I was born. And starting with the day I was born, I still have the blanket.
Oh my gosh.
So it's 47 years old, and it actually I use it during Christmas for my Christmas Charlie Brown Christmas tree.
Oh,
it looks just like Linus.
That's adorable.
Yeah, that's the right color too.
Yeah. And then I also have what my grandma on my dad's side gave me. It's a Mother Goose blanket.
Oh.
Wow.
So yeah, I've been collecting forever. I got a lot of my old stuffed toys as well that I've had since I was little. And
great shape too.
Yeah, I have more somewhere in my mom's house as well. But I just loved toys as a kid, and when we go to the store, my mom would let me and my brother just run all over, play video games, and we'd go down the aisles, and get toys. And every once in a while, I'll buy them. Mom would buy them for us. But then once I got into, as a teenager, I got into Nickelodeon, and so
wow.
And it was all because of my grandma. My grandma moved her trailer. Actually, the trailer's still in the town I live in, and she actually moved next door to us and take care of us when we were little. And she bought a satellite, and so it was a big old dish in the those were thousands of dollars. And so that's how I got into Nickelodeon, was just watching it on TV, go to her house, and getting to see both Nickelodeon before it was Nickelodeon. Before the orange years and the slime and everything. So,
so you've seen it like from the beginning.
Yeah.
Do you remember the first Nickelodeon show that you ended up watching? Is that a huge ask?
Well, yes and no. And I know I have it here. It would probably be
Mr. Wizard's World.
Yeah.
And I've showed Alex has seen this before, but I got this book, and I don't know if it's real or not, but I say it is. But I actually have the signature as well. But yeah, I remember watching like Pinwheel and watching Special Delivery. But Mr. Wizard, it come on like at 5 in the morning, so I had to get up early with my grandma, listening to her music, and I would watch Mr. Wizards, and that's what kind of was got me into science as well, and led to the path of being a science teacher.
Wow.
That's amazing. That's so special.
Now that's true inspiration right there. Jeez.
Now, before we get into the collection itself, because you got a lot of awesome Nickelodeon stuff. Of all things, of all different fandoms and things that people collect from, why'd you choose Nickelodeon?
Like I said, like as a teenager, I got to see Nickelodeon before it became what most people think of Nickelodeon. And then as a kid, I would go to the store and just, we'd go to the mall and go to Spencer's and Gadzooks and stuff like that. And Nickelodeon was
Oh,
big at that time.
Gadzooks.
In the mid '90s, it hit with Ren and Stimpy and everything just hit big with merchandise. And so every time I saw something, I had a job working at a restaurant right down the road from my house, and so my money would just go straight to that. And I still have a lot of my stuff from when I was a teenager.
So cool.
Did you ever get out of Nickelodeon, sort of, or were you just always
Yeah,
in it?
Yeah, like as I got out of college, get into college, and when I actually just went and moved to San Antonio and went to finish up college, I kind of got out of it,
Mm.
and it's like actually finding y'all got me back into it,
Aw.
and everything.
Really?
So
Oh.
yeah,
That's so cool.
and and then I never watched like I watched some of the shows, but like even like Are You Afraid of the Dark? I didn't really watch it at during Snick or anything like that. I just recently, a couple years ago, got into it.
Mm.
But seeing the now just going on YouTube and watching commercials, and then y'all having all your commercials and everything. So
That means a
Yay.
lot. Thank you so much.
Yay. I'm glad that we sparked some.
sorry to make you cry. No.
It's much like you. I didn't grow up with Are You Afraid of the Dark either. So it's like
Yeah,
seeing
but
this a couple years ago. It's like, oh, okay.
I did grow up on Wienerville, and I did grow up on
What's that show? What's Wienerville all about? I don't know. I
Oh,
don't know
shut
that.
your face. You would do that on Facebook to just random people who would post this
Such a
would.
troll.
Dolly, and then I'd see Manny in the comments. What's Wienerville? I'm like, oh, you shut your trap. You know exact. Don't
You
do
did
that to
that
this
last
person.
week.
I did do last week.
It's like just
And
one
I
of
was
those
like,
little
yeah,
bait and
it's an
switch.
okay show. It's an okay show.
Just a bait and switch to see how much they know of the show. I don't know. It's just some picture I found on the internet to see if anybody else remembers. Yeah, that's what I thought. Well, Ryan, take it away with showing off whatever you want to show, man.
Please.
Okay.
Please.
Well, I like a couple weeks ago, I had like a big thing that I was gonna follow, but it's like I'm just gonna go with it.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna start out with like probably my favorite piece, and it's actually my original, and it's gotta be
Oh,
The
the
clock.
clock.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was probably a teenager, 14, 15 years old, and and saw it probably somewhere like at Spencer's or somewhere. And I just, I don't have the box or anything, but this is my original, and I've had it since then. So that's close to 30 years old. It still works, but it's very faint.
And you have
Somehow.
something collectible right there because only a few people have those. And especially
Yeah.
in that great a shape too. Like I'm amazed at the stuff you have is in great shape.
Yeah, I mean,
I would have just drew all over it or something.
I mean, I had a sticker put over it, but I mean, I think it was stored in a box, in a container, storage container,
Yeah.
and I just kept it with me. But it's just, I mean, just seeing this and the colors, the purple and the orange and the green, and just the different sounds and stuff, it just brings back those memories.
I love that. I love that that was one from childhood because a lot of the collectors that we've met who have one picked it up as an adults because they never got the chance to have one and always wanted one. So I'm happy to see that somebody that we know had one from a child and still has it. That's really cool to me.
Yeah.
You know, and I remember seeing the other ones, but I just never. I had a chance of getting the phone a couple of weeks ago
Ooh.
in San
Oh,
Antonio, and it was like 160, and I was like tempted, but and now I kind of see if that guy ever has it and go back and get it. It had the box and everything, and it was like in almost pristine condition.
Yeah.
And and you can get them
Wow.
online, but it was there. The box was in good shape, and I was like, man, but maybe next time. And I didn't know ever. I can't remember if mine ever did, but they also sometimes came with stickers. All of the blast packs came, whether it was the walkie talkies, the cassette player, they came with stickers.
oh
But
man.
I
you would
wasn't
get
aware.
stickers
Oh.
in there that had all the pictures of them, like the blast pack of the radio, the calculator, the talk blaster,
Yeah.
blast box, photo blaster, and so they would have them in there as well.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
That's so
Wow.
cool.
Yeah.
And so when I was a teenager, my favorite show was Ren and Stimpy, and so I still have the original. These were like little water blasters that shot water. And so they don't have the caps, but I mean, I had these. These are my originals as well. And I don't think I ever played with them in the tub, but that I just that still have that from when I was little. And
Okay,
then also,
let me
yeah.
see. Let me see the Ren. I've said this before, but I said it over on the Real Life Perspective show. If none of you have seen it yet, but the Ren for this always reminds me of the alien from Mac and Me.
Mhm.
It just it's
I mean,
it's so surreal
he's
looking.
choking himself, and then he's got like his stomach's
Yeah, I don't know what's going on there. Yeah.
Give him a Big
then
Mac. He'll be okay.
Snippy's just like holding the water in his mouth, and
Yeah, right. Stimpy looks like Stimpy. Ren
Yeah,
does
but
not look
Ren,
like Ren at
well, from the
all.
front, no.
so another piece that I have is
Oh,
it's a
nice.
little magnet. Okay, and
Happy,
it's got
happy,
the
joy, joy. And then
yep.
I love that it's a
How do you know
magnet.
that?
it's like, are they bookends? Oh no, they're magnets.
You
Imagine,
could
imagine just going into the marketing store, a marketing team, and say, "Okay, I got an idea. Let's put magnets in Ren and Stimpy's butt."
Was that from Spencer's Gifts by chance? That seems
it
like a
probably
very
was.
Spencer's
It
Gifts
it
thing.
probably was. I mean, it says Viacom. It says actually that was 2004, so that was later.
Interesting.
But
Oh,
I've had that since, so that's still 20 years old.
still, yeah.
Another thing, and this is not my original, but I did have one of these, and these are kind of hard to come by. This was a Ren and Stimpy, uh,
Yes.
um, like membership card.
Yeah.
And so this was 92 and it had like the oath and stuff. I do hereby promise only to watch the Ren and Stimpy show, to make underleg noises during the good scenes, to wear unwashed lederhosen every single day of the rest of my life.
That is wow. I didn't know that was a real thing. I've seen it on the show, but I didn't know it was a real fan club membership thing. I didn't know that.
And
Yeah.
I had one, and I
That's
wish I
nuts.
still had the original, but I ended up getting another one.
We
And so I
ended
was
up
like,
giving one away as a prize for the Go Figure.
Wow.
yep. And I actually got this from the same person too.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
That's cool.
1985 Inc.
1985.
Yep.
Oh yeah. Shout out to them. They're great.
Well, another this is the all original except one. If during that time we would always go to McDonald's, and so Nickelodeon, in many times was McDonald's probably was the first. I would say that had the toys
Yeah.
and the Happy Meal,
Yeah.
and so they had four, but they actually had five. So they had an under three as well. But they had this one that's kind of like a
So that thing, this is what I was laughing at. I used to take that out in the yard and pretend to be a Huggle from Labyrinth and try to kill butterflies with it.
So it has a whistle, and I guess this is a water squirter.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
Granted, I never killed a single butterfly, but I would like walk over to my parents' garden and go, "Ugh," and pretend that I had just killed one.
Angry Alex.
Yeah.
And then they, of
It's
course,
actually
had the microphone that has a spring in it. So when you talk in it, it echoes,
Aw.
vibrates.
a little bit of a behind the scenes thing.
And y'all know
go
what this
figure.
And
is.
then, of course,
Yes, and of course, the blower. I'm sad to say I never owned that, but I should one of these days.
What was you gonna say, man? You were gonna say something else.
I was gonna say, like, behind the scenes thing of go figure. People were showing their microphones. Like, literally, a lot of people had
Oh,
those
yeah.
microphones. Yeah,
I've got one back there on the shelf. Yeah.
it's neat. And also, Nostalgia Society. I want to call out them really quick. They just
Yes.
came back on the internet.
I
And,
saw that.
Their
I
latest,
saw their post.
yeah, their latest post was the Ronald McDonald thing holding up the Nickelodeon toys.
Yeah.
Showing all those.
I
And
didn't
the-
know it was McDonald's.
And the previous post was like all of their stuff, just doing kind of all of it. It's like, oh my, I've
Yeah.
never seen everything.
It's neat.
And my favorite was the clapper.
Oh, that's cool. I never seen that before.
Yeah, I think
I
this
should
is
have
my
that over here, but I don't
original.
see it.
But then a lot of times with McDonald's, they had like a under 3 because of like any moving parts and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Yeah.
this was also like a little it was a little water squirter that was the blimp.
I didn't know
Oh.
that.
Wow, that's cool.
And it's like Manny said, it's not pictured on what Nostalgia Society has
Yeah.
on there. But it's like
Super
a lot
secret
of times,
toy. Yeah.
yeah, if there was a under 3, you could get one of these. I guess you have to ask for it, and they would give this.
Oh, that's cool. That's really neat.
So speaking of food, so not only did McDonald's, other places did too. I think before that, maybe Pizza Hut.
Oh yeah,
Was
Mhm.
probably before them.
it was.
So Pizza Hut had, everything from ET to Care Bears. But I guess around 1998, they actually had Eureka's Castle. So they had the hand puppet that you could buy. I think they were like
Yeah.
99 cents if you bought a meal, and then you could buy one. So you had,
I love Eureka's Castle.
Eureka's
Do you have the little
Castle.
Magellan one?
yeah, it's somewhere. I think oh, here it is.
I
It's
love
not little.
Magellan.
It's
Oh no,
pretty
it's not.
big.
It's pretty. Yeah, it's hefty.
I had Magellan and I had Eureka. I never had Batley.
Yeah, I had Magellan, I think.
I don't have the cups, but I do have one cup that was the slime with the hand, the Nickelodeon Studios cup as well.
Is that your original?
No, that's not. Those aren't my original.
Okay.
But I just acquired those recently. But speaking of like when we would be at home, we always would eat. We didn't really ever eat on the table, so we ate in front of the TV, and we had TV trays. And so I looked and asked my mom and my brother like what are TV trays, and I tried researching. But they actually did make Nickelodeon TV trays, and they actually
Really?
the rectangular ones, they had 4 of them. And so probably one of the first ones was
Oh,
Wow.
and I think it has a date. I don't know if I see it on there. 1991.
wow.
So and this one's in pretty good shape. Another one that they had, and I saw a post by Jim Jenkins saying that this was probably the first Doug merchandise. Was the Doug TV tray.
Oh,
That's really cool.
And so I mean, it's same thing. I
Not
think
everybody.
It a lot of times it says Nicktoons on it instead of Nickelodeon.
yeah. Yeah, they're really trying to brand the Nicktoons as the new thing.
They also had Rugrats.
That's cool. That looks like season 1 style right there.
Yeah.
It's got to be. If it's 91, it's got to be.
Man, that is rough.
92.
Jeez,
Hmm.
that's cool looking though. I didn't know those existed.
And then they also had.
Brandon's, yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Now they still have other ones like they have Hey Arnold, but it's the oval, the contoured shape that's like oval
Mhm.
curved. And of course, Alex's favorite, they have SpongeBob as well. And I actually have one. I have one in the kitchen, but
Put it in the fireplace.
No.
Log.
Oh,
It's
no.
better than bad. It's good.
Yeah.
but besides, like, later on, then I know, like, I guess Hardee's and even Wendy's
Mhm.
and even Dairy Queen came out with Nickelodeon stuff. So recently, I just found online that Dairy Queen, like in 1995, had ones, and so this is Hey Arnold. It's like a little beach compartment where you can put your stuff in.
I used to have one of those. Oh.
And then they have the
Man.
Rugrats ball. It's like you can fill it with water, so it's like a wobbly ball.
Yeah.
The beach. They also had Crumb, like on a
Yeah.
little float. And then this one didn't come. It only came with the ring, so it's a ring toss, and it had a purple stick, and then it had Rocco on that goes in the inside, but that wasn't in the package. So you can like have ring toss on the beach as well.
So cool.
But I remember the Hey Arnold one, and I don't know what happened to it, but I used to have that. I remember that so well.
But they also started to have them like you could get stuff from like cereal.
Mm.
Yeah.
So they had like
Ren and Stimpy shorts.
shorts. Okay.
Wow.
That is so cool.
They're kind of in used condition, but you could order those. You could also like they had the Jello
Oh,
Jello?
molds with Crumb and Ickis, Ren, and Stimpy
wow.
that you could
I
order from
hadn't seen
Jello.
those.
Yeah, I've never heard of those.
I've not seen a Jello mold since. I should say a different. The only one I ever saw was the Ninja Turtles.
It's hard to see that the Nickelodeon is actually the old Nickelodeon.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there
Yeah.
it is, right there.
Ye old Splat.
Hmm.
Let's see. But marketing was real big. You could cereal. Like I said, you could get like the I don't
Gosh,
know
what
if
is that?
Oh, wow.
Post. It was Hey Arnold. It was actually that came with the little. It was the
Oh
Nickel.
yes.
Oh.
Yeah,
Spot the
That
dog.
had,
I remember that.
I actually have I have one sealed and one that I opened. And I want to frame it, but it's hard to find something that's like 3 feet long, but it's only like 6 inches wide.
3 foot by 6 inches. Custom order right there.
Yeah, you can do like
Yeah.
a custom thing, but those are a little pricey.
It's expensive.
Your face
Yeah.
is pricey.
That's something else I had as a kid, but this is not the original, and I thought this was pretty cool. For like younger kids, they had like those touch and feel books. So they had the Stimpy. So I had this. It's not
Oh
mine.
my
Red,
gosh.
you me.
They
For
had,
younger kids.
and this smells still. It really.
Oh,
does?
No.
It's just I don't know what it just smells like dirty socks. And it's got like sandpaper.
Oh, geez, I don't want to mess anything up.
It's got
Oh,
the
man,
one
that's
for
funny.
girls with the hair. It says you can comb it, you can braid it, or you can cut it off. And then it's got the erase button.
In his nostril.
In his nostril.
The history eraser button.
Wow.
So
Oh, dude,
Yeah, I
that has to be
actually
one
have
of the
that, but-
coolest things in the world.
no, 1993.
Man, that's my favorite thing I've ever seen. Oh my god. I can't believe he doesn't have this here. It's amazing.
Pat the bunny is just like, hmm. How did that
show-
marketing meeting go down? How did that
This show
pitch
was never
meeting
made for children.
happen?
Yes, it
What
was.
did Jerry?
Look, it
What
had
did
a
Jerry
Pat the
have
Bunny.
to say about that?
all,
wow.
Oh,
birthday hats.
Birthday hats.
Cool.
Party hats with
They
Ren and
had
Stimpy.
party hats too. Man.
And you can, I mean, like I said, you can go to Pizza Hut and get the little lenticular.
Yeah.
Jeez. Wow.
It's night. The book.
Pizza Hut.
The bucket.
Yeah, Pizza Hut gets slept on a lot, but they had some pretty cool stuff.
Yeah, back then they did. Yeah.
Yeah.
And stickers. Like I said, marketing was key. They had all
Splat
this
Zone. I see Splat Zone.
Mm-hmm.
Splurt alert.
Does
Is that on
that
there?
say Splurt Alert? Is that it?
So those are the toilet
Yeah.
paper things that they
Hey,
put on.
Alex, it should say squirt alert.
Yeah.
And if you had splurt alert, you gotta have the Ren and Stimpy toilet
Yeah.
paper.
Man, they had Ren and Stimpy toilet paper.
They
course they
had
did.
Go right.
they
go
had
right
even
there.
they had tissue paper,
Oh,
to
okay.
put in your gifts and stuff as well.
Go right there along
neat.
with the. You got to have the toilet paper to go with the Pat the Bunny.
And these are my original. I don't know exactly where I got them. And so they're Rocco.
Yeah.
Like the pencil is still kind of got plastic seal on it, and he's actually glued to it. So you had Rocco, then you had Stimpy
That's cool.
as well.
Little pencil climbers.
Little pole dancers.
Yeah, they could be.
And then back then too, they did cassettes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So they had Pete with Polaris. Three of their songs, Hey Sandy, Staggering, and Coronado 2. They even for Nick at Night, they did one that was pretty much like 50 hits.
Oh, that's cool.
Bill Haley in the Comets, Big Bopper. And of
Hello,
course,
baby.
You idiot.
You idiot.
they did the You Idiot, and they did the Christmas.
Oh yeah, that's right. Croco Christmas, I believe.
Yep.
Yep, there it is.
They had one that was like annoying songs to play in the car or something like that. It was a travel
Yeah,
album.
Are
And
we
that one
there
is
yet? Yeah, it was,
that one is expensive too
Yeah.
to try to get.
And it's stupid.
Yeah, it's dumb.
It's so stupid. You can find them. Somebody uploaded them on YouTube, so you can listen to the whole album. And they're all just stupid nursery rhymes that everyone knows. They just changed it to sound really annoying, and they succeeded.
Yeah, it's kind of like Kids Bop before Kids
I was just gonna say
Yeah.
Kids Bop.
Bop.
But it's hard to see. But I also have like VHS tapes as well.
Yeah, I see that.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And they even did Lassie. So
Yeah.
they have
Yeah.
well.
Yeah, our last collector's corner showed that they did Lassie as well. It's really interesting.
And as they fly everywhere, they had Lassie Go Home, a Christmas one. And some are orange.
Oh, some are
Lassie and
orange,
orange.
too.
Orange tapes.
And then they had Lassie Collection. And then they had Lassie Christmas. That one's still sealed.
Lassie vasectomy.
well, Lassie was a girl. So.
Just a
Lassie to Fetch a Thief. They also did
yeah.
Goldberg?
Yeah.
Tales from Wolfie.
And so it was like kind of like a Nickelodeon after school special type thing.
Very much.
Oh, okay.
And actually, I got this one today, and it's sealed.
Wow.
It says sealed, and I want to sing "Kiss from a Rose."
And of course,
Pete and Pete.
Pete and Pete. I think this is the one that had. Can't remember which one it was. Just one.
Oh, well, still though, Pete and Pete on VHS. That's pretty amazing, right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How many episodes were on a tape?
They had 2. So like on this one, they have the one with Mr. Tasty where he takes a vacation.
Yeah.
And then it also has the Artie workout on it.
Ah, yes. That's my favorite one.
So they had what we did on our summer vacation and Apocalypse Pete.
Cool.
And then they have the Artie workout. I think most of them had like 2.
Mm.
Yeah, most of them had 1 or 2. Like this one, I think that's when farewell, my farewell Viking, little Viking. That's when Arlie basically,
Yeah.
it has Iggy Pop on it. Let's see.
You're a new kind of Viking now.
And another one, like in cereals, you could order, or get stuff in it. So this is
Yes.
Wow.
the Are You Afraid of the Dark? It glows in the dark. It has little ghosts on it that you could get in the cereal box. They also did a Roundhouse one.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
That's really cool. I
And I
didn't know
think the
about that one.
Roundhouse one, well, they were in like honeycomb.
Honeycombs, yeah.
Yeah.
Wait. So
This
that was
this one
cereal
was
box?
in Golden Crisp.
Wow.
Taking it back.
Hey, it comes around full circle.
Yeah.
Well, it's an oval.
I didn't know that they came in the box. Wow. Man, prizes used to be so amazing.
Yeah, they
I
did.
know.
And even Kool-Aid got into the whole thing of it
What did
too.
Kool-Aid have to do with that?
Oh yeah, I used to have. I
Double
had 2
Dare.
of those. And I busted both of them just because I got my brother and I
Yeah,
were too
you can
rough.
just see
You
it right
busted your
there.
balls,
Whack the
Alex?
ball. It's got the Kool-Aid logo.
Does it have like a
lettering.
weight in it or something?
Yeah, it's got
Yeah.
a weight in the bottle. So it kind of wobbles around.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And these are like hard to come by. I was just one day searching and it
Yes.
like popped up and I was like, buy. I mean, just they're hard to come by. But I remember
Yeah.
seeing those.
Yeah, I remember we had Kool-Aid all the time. We had a little Ziploc bag full of the Kool-Aid points. And then
Yeah.
we'd get the little sheet that had all the little things that you could get at the Kool-Aid store. And we got one of those. And my brother and I loved that thing. And we played for it quite a while, and then it popped. And then we had to get a second one, which we drank so much Kool-Aid, we had enough points really quick to get a second one, and then we popped that one too. And
Oh,
then
okay.
and then they didn't have them in the store anymore by that time.
I remember like the advertisement and I don't know how many points it was, and it wasn't a whole lot. I mean, you could get them
Yeah.
pretty easy. And they made little frisbees.
Yep.
Well,
Nice.
yeah, actually, my friend that owns a shop in Houston, he actually found this, and so I got it pretty cheap
Oh,
as well. And then
Is that
even
a prize or was that a promotional item? Like,
I want to say
like
it was in something.
okay.
I can't remember. I remember seeing it. But yeah, it came in something. It might have been like in a cereal or.
it came in a box of Trojans.
And they also had a promotion. Now this is Disney.
Yeah.
Okay.
But, the mask, and I got this from a 1985 ink as well.
Oh.
So, but then you can go as as Doug for
Yeah.
Yeah. Halloween.
I found something interesting on eBay, and it was a Doug mask that you put on your face, but the nose was cut out. So you put your nose right there, like there would be a hole. It didn't make any sense, but it's one of the weirdest 90s Nickelodeon things that you could ever find.
Was it just the bottom half or?
Yeah, no, it was like his face,
Oh.
but the hole on his nose was like you could poke it out and just put your face through it. It's an interesting concept, but yeah, there's only like 2 or 3 of them that I saw.
Weird.
I know.
I can think of other costumes with a weird hole.
Did you make that yourself?
I made that. Yep.
No kidding.
I made a couple of them.
Dang, that's awesome.
Do
Alex,
the voice, Alex. Do the voice.
Stick,
Do the voice.
Yeah, what do you think Stick would say about that, Alex?
Gosh, I can't even do it on the spot now. Simmer down.
Yeah, and I remember
here we are at Ryan's house. We're checking out all these really cool, nostalgic Nickelodeon stuff. Do we have any more stuff from Pete and Pete?
I'm gonna call my mom. Mom.
To me, he sounded like he kind of sounded like Super Dave Osborne.
Yeah.
When he would do
Yeah.
When he fell off the Toronto Tower, you know.
Jeez. Super
God,
Dave.
Super Dave. You're like the only
Man.
other person I've ever heard reference.
That was my
Super Dave.
dad's like favorite show.
Oh,
Like he would
love
watch 'cause
Super Dave.
my grandma had cable, and so my dad actually wired a wire from the house, you know. And so if we were watching, all of a sudden my grandma would change it. But eventually, when she, you know, decided we got it, so we were watching. Like my dad would love watching that show. You know, when he rode on the back of a top of a truck, and then he hit
Yes.
when he went underneath
The overpass.
yeah.
I didn't know
so
he had a
great.
show. I've only seen him on interviews on talk shows, but I didn't know he had a show.
Yeah.
He passed away a few years ago.
Yeah,
But,
he's a
yeah.
very funny guy, but I never saw his action show.
I mean,
didn't
he
know
was a
did that.
comedian, but that was his whole set.
He
setup,
had a cartoon. He had a movie.
Wow.
you know.
Jeez, that's awesome.
He was in
he have
Ocean's 13.
Did he have a toy line or anything like
I
that?
don't
or?
think he had a toy line. But it had a line of exploding toilets, but because he would do that. Sit down, watch it launch you.
And then it would launch the dummy, you know, and
Yeah.
And I know the guy that was on the other day. I also have one of like the original.
Oh yeah.
Wow,
yeah.
It has
yeah.
the wings.
Yeah.
And they made several. This was probably like 79, 80. So it was a young people's channel. And they also did one with devil's horns as well.
Yes.
What did that one
one's
say?
mine.
And
Wait,
so
does it say the Young People's Channel or like
Yeah.
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
Underworld Channel? Like what?
Young People's Channel. Before they marketed it as the first kids network, it was the Young People's Channel.
Oh, okay.
See, Manny,
it was so proper.
Yeah.
the devil horns were for
well, they
when
did
had
have
satellite.
the first channel for
Is
kids.
that the whistle?
The whistle.
The keychain whistle? Yeah. I've seen some of
There's a-
those online.
That's a
And that was like the promotion for cable companies.
Mhm.
To as you got like as a thing if you ordered their channel.
wow. That's cool. That's something very different.
That's such like a compilation prize or not consolation prize. Like, oh yes, you just spent hundreds of dollars on this new channel. Here's a cheap
Here's a
plastic whistle. Enjoy our content.
Nicktoons
Suckers.
bomber jacket.
Oh yes.
This is Tyvek. Tyvek, I mean, it doesn't rip. You have to like basically, you know, if you pull on it, it doesn't, you know. And, I used to when I did a bunch of marathons and stuff. Sometimes we'd get one of these. These things will make you sweat. I mean, if it's cold, put one of these on. Even though they're super thin, they don't breathe. So like, you know, you can keep warming them and from the wind. But yeah, you got this in it was a mail order from a cereal.
Mm.
So then it had it was Nickelodeon, and it had all the Ren and Stimpy, Rocco, Doug, Rugrats, and All Real Monsters.
Okay, so you just answered my question then. I've seen that jacket so many times, and in my head, I'm like, that thing is the easiest thing to break. But you just completely proved me wrong. That is
Well,
awesome.
they make wallets out of it too. I have wallets, and so like you can. I have one now, and I've had a couple times. It's a peanut butter and jelly wallet.
Yeah.
And so like you can rip like the stuff like if you cut it, it will cut. But I mean, it's super strong. It's made by DuPont, and so it's Tyvek. It's I don't know if it's said on there. Oh, it's 100% spun bonded olefium. Olefin.
Oh.
100% Ollivander.
Holyfield. Like I don't know.
Evander Holyfield is the wand maker in Hogwarts in Hogsmeade. Big old buff guy just giving children wands. This is made from, I don't know, some horse. Try that.
Go to Diagon Alley.
has his boxing gloves and punches him out the store when he's done.
Yeah.
Yeah, you go write that fan fiction.
Yes.
this was
Wow,
probably
Finders Keepers.
one of
Oh
my
yeah.
favorite shows. You know, it's one of the originals.
Yeah.
Of
Yeah.
Double Dare and Finders Keeper. And so you know, when it has the different rooms, it has little boxes. You know, and you kind of play it where you find stuff and um,
So they've actually made a game out of that.
Yeah,
yeah.
we did a game on featuring that, and
Oh.
it had Joe Gilpatrick, who's been on the show a few times. That is one of my favorite game on episodes ever because of Joe. He's
Oh, of
hilarious.
course. I'm sure.
The game itself is very fun. We talked about Joe would always have a big Christmas party, and we talked about bringing that out for Christmas because there are these boxes that you're supposed to put items in, and that they gotta open each box to find that one little bitty piece. And we're like,
Yeah.
we could make this really, really awful. Like we could put confetti in one of them. We could like line it with wax paper and put like slime in it and all these other horrible things that are just gonna get everywhere because they open and throw it everywhere and open and throw it everywhere and
And that's
you
what
put
they
some
did
rules
on
in.
the show. I mean, like
Yeah.
you'd find like they would like try to find this, and it was like in a whole room, and it was just like they were throwing stuff everywhere, and you know,
Everywhere.
Now I could be wrong, but didn't Stone Stanley also do that show? Like, was Finders Keepers first and Legends came second? Or I'm just assuming that. I don't really
yeah,
know.
Finders Keepers was like 86, like
Yeah.
you know, and
Yeah.
then, yeah, 85, 86.
I just thought the same company did it. So I'm just
I'm looking
sure.
into it right now,
Mm.
Manny.
Okay.
'Cause I don't know. I don't think Stone Stanley was a part of it, but I could be totally wrong. I'm checking right now.
Hmm.
Great reference, Cat.
Well, of course, you know, Double Dare was first, you know, and it was filmed first, you know, Manny, where you live in Pittsburgh.
Oh yeah,
Before it
that's
went
right. Oh, I thought it was
before
in Philly.
in
Okay.
Philly,
Wow. But still though, I mean, yeah,
Pennsylvania.
Mark Summers, yeah, they did such changes with that show, and then all of a sudden like landing in Orlando. But
I mean, it
it just
just
gained its own popularity like locally. It's insane how Double Dare made such a change. And it's great. It truly is. It's one of the best, I think, Nick shows that there were at the time. So
And no, Stone Stanley was not part of it.
gotcha.
when I was a teenager, I also collected the Ren and Stimpy comic books.
Oh, yes.
Comics.
Yes.
I want to say I had every single one of them, and then when I brought them here, and you know, I took them to school, and like, for robotics, we have a button machine, so I just started letting the kids dig through, and so yeah, they became buttons, and so I'm now building them back up, and I probably got right at about half of like the 44 magazines. I also had a bunch of Beavis and Butthead comic books.
Yeah, the Marvel
Yeah.
ones.
It was
Yeah.
fun listening to kids like, "Oh my God, what is this?" And I'm like,
Some of those,
Yeah.
like you've seen them, right? Like some of those were drawn horrifically. Like you saw, like it was detailed. Like they were detailed.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the
Rick
Ren and
Parker
Stimpy
did some-
ones, is it Scratch and Sniff? Did I see on
Yeah,
there?
like is there?
Yeah,
There's
the
a
first
nose there.
episode, the first one does have a like a scratch and sniff on there. I'm not for sure. Yeah,
What's it
I
supposed
open
to?
everything.
What's it supposed to smell like?
Pedophilia.
Jeez.
Oh my god. Oh, jeez.
Well, they have a little. It says "scratch my face." Let's see.
Whoa, what's happening there? There we go.
It just has a faint like cardboard. It's not really.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But you know, even back then, you can see like some of the advertisements. You know, it had Marvel with Wolverine.
Oh yeah.
Gosh.
I guess it
That's
technically
old
means
school
that
Wolverine.
Yeah.
Ren and Stimpy are part of the Marvel universe now. I mean,
Oh
same thing with
no.
Beavis and Butthead too. So,
Man, have him in Deadpool.
oh, that'd be
Man.
great.
Somebody posted in one of the Facebook groups the other day talking about Ren and Stimpy and said, I was just thinking about how the creator he's in prison now. I'm like, he's not in prison. He's a disgusting human being, but he's never been arrested.
I guess my last piece that I have, um,
Oh gosh,
The
yes.
Nerf foot.
The
you
Nerf
know, the
foot.
foot. It's like, why?
What? Like what?
Why not?
Like
It's
what
Nerf
is
or
it?
nothing. Question mark?
Well,
Like
96,
what's the
Nick and Nerf.
significance of the foot? Like, is it part of like a
Don't
kickball
say it,
thing?
Alex.
Don't
Don't
say,
say it.
No,
don't
no,
say the
no, because
name.
that was long before anything is,
Yeah.
and that's what bothers me more than anything about the foot icon, because everyone, especially since the documentary came out, everyone's like, "Oh, they were telling us long before." No, this
No,
was
it
long
wasn't. It
before
was
he
just a
was even a
silly
thing.
thing. Yeah, it was just a silly
Feet
logo.
are
That's all.
gross, and
I
Nickelodeon
mean, they
was
use
about being
everything.
gross.
They use like bones and they use
Yes,
feet and
Mhm.
I mean,
and the
they
foot was
use
one of the iconic
rockets.
looks.
They used
Yeah,
aliens. They used hammers. They used,
a hot
um,
dog. So yeah,
yeah,
it's like same
a
thing.
dog.
Yeah,
They used
planet.
a,
Yeah.
a Venus flytrap. You know, they have everything on here.
And
A
yeah, that
log.
was they had that as their logo for an entrance. I think it was at the Nick animation studio.
It
They had that
was.
as the foot, and still, even then,
Yeah, and
he
Dan
was
had
not.
nothing to do with that
Yeah,
at
no,
all. So
it was just always weird, funky, silly shapes. Always has been, and
Yeah,
the foot was always one of the was one of the more iconic ones. They used it quite a few times.
yeah, I remember
Mhm.
being really amused by it. So I
It's a
didn't see
foot.
anything wrong. Yeah, it's a
and
foot.
then they made a stool too, right?
Yeah, they had
Like
a
Yeah, they did.
footstool.
Yeah,
it's cool.
which makes sense because it's a footstool.
Yeah.
This, I mean, it's like, you know, if you want
Huh.
to, like,
I mean,
Like a stress toy. Yeah.
that's like the
Yeah.
brain football that they had.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
Just a weird little thing that you're only gonna find at Nickelodeon.
hmm
Bootleg. Is that anything like a footstool? So
Oh man, dude, I'm
yeah, seriously, dude, you have amazing
I
stuff.
mean, you've got there's so much
Stuff I've
stuff
never
behind you too.
seen.
You could just keep going.
yeah,
Yeah.
I
Oh my
know you've got a
gosh.
ton of stuff.
What?
I mean,
What is?
it's Ren and
Just my
Stimpy
style.
Christmas cards.
Christmas
Oh
Ah,
cards?
wow.
Maybe you'll get one for Christmas. I don't know.
I
Aw.
didn't know that they made those either. Good lord.
You mean Yaxmas cards?
Yes. Yaxmas cards.
got it. They always tenderize your cards before you send them. This is for your mother.
You know, and then, you know, like, you know, with the Nick's box that came out a few years ago and
Yeah.
Yeah.
different things that
The
came in.
Renegade virus. Ugh.
Yep.
Man, I love every bit of it. Thank you so much
Yeah,
for sharing
seriously,
all
Ryan,
that.
thank
That's
you.
awesome
Thank you
I
stuff.
like my
much.
shirts too. I have, you know,
Yeah.
like
Yes.
Marvel Monsters.
And I see the cat dog back there.
I was going to like do a change every so often, but it was like I'd have to be getting up and stuff. But they got
Oh, that's so
Oh,
cool.
wow.
It's like newspaper
Are you
articles.
afraid of the dark?
yeah, it's got them all on there.
Was that from Nick Box or what is that
No,
from?
this is Roosevelt's. It's a t-shirt
Hmm.
company that just does everything from Marvel to
Wow.
That's
just
so cool.
nostalgia of 80s movies. They did you know, all kinds of Halloween, they do all kinds of stuff.
That is so cool.
I've not seen that before. That's really
Yeah,
cool.
that one's new, and I love the All Real Monsters one that
Yeah.
you're wearing. That of the two, that one's my favorite. I think it's just because it's
Mm.
purple.
They got just all the Nickelodeon
Nicktoons.
Yeah.
tunes and everything. I got a couple more.
The Rocco shirt?
I've seen the Rocco one before.
Yeah, the Rocco shirt was a Nick Box one.
Oh, that's neat. That's a nice Ren and Stimpy
Ren
one.
and Stimpy.
They even have the one where they're touching butts on there.
Yeah.
Ooh, such strong animal magnetism.
And Rocco.
They even had one that didn't have the characters on it, just that
It was just
pattern
a
triangle.
over at
Yeah, the pattern was from the Nick box, or at least they had one that was the pattern from a Nick
Yeah,
box.
I remember seeing that.
Because they had the socks too. They had like the Rocco shoes like printed on these big long socks.
I
Oh, that
absolutely
is
love
cool.
that.
The
That
legends.
is so
Oh,
Now, was that Stanley Stone?
neat.
Yeah, that's
Well, they
that.
kind of had something to do with it.
There's the
the monkey.
Silver monkey.
silver
Yeah.
monkey. It's got like the different there's the throne room maybe with the king. That's
Uh,
King's
The
Throne
King's
Room.
storeroom. And all the different team logos. That's really cool.
all the different like.
I'm a
yeah,
huge
Olmec.
Legends fan, so
Olmec.
that's awesome. Yeah, that's really
Yeah,
cool.
I just
love
like
that.
the design too. Like they look like
Yes.
the hieroglyphs. Like that's
Yeah,
really cool.
It's like a tiki shirt. It's all like
Yeah.
there's a guy that one of their artists that does a lot of stuff tiki. So they have like I have Goonies that's like a tiki.
Oh,
They-
Oh, nice.
I love it.
That's awesome.
Well, thank you so much for sharing all these amazing things. We got a Pete and Pete hat.
Pete hat.
Yeah.
I actually
Matt, you
wore
have one of
that
those.
on Monday. It was hat day. And so I wore it with I have a Pete and Pete shirt, and I had the hat and wore it all day at school.
Nice.
That's cool, dude. That's
Well,
awesome.
everybody, if you've not already followed Ryan, check him out over on Instagram at Smeagolodian. And thank you so much for sharing all these really awesome things.
Seriously, dude.
Thanks, man.
I know we've only scratched the surface. I know there's a whole other house full of stuff. So, but
Oh yeah,
we'll
my
have
other
to-
room has all my 80s and 90s stuff in it as well. McDonald toys.
yeah, we'll have to do another
Wow.
episode, another season
Yeah.
to check
Absolutely.
out more of it.
We definitely
But-
do.
Everyone, comment down below what was your favorite item that Ryan had shared with us today, because I will tell you my favorite was the Spurt Alert sticker. I mean, goes without saying. But thank you again. Appreciate it. Love you guys. Thank all of you for checking everything out and supporting us and watching the show. And we will splat you guys later.
Bye. This episode was recorded at Splat Attack Studios in virtual home studios, though none in Florida.